Hey everyone, S-Dub Nation here, and welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here in the channel. I like to stop and take the time to rank all the Ninjago Final Battles ranked from the worst to the best. Please note that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion. My list is certainly not the right list, it is just my list, and you are free to comment down below your ranking of all the Ninjago Final Battles ranked from the worst to the best just like me, or you could just do your favorite. Like, comment, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into our ranking. Kicking off my list at number 16, we have Awakenings from Seekers of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, the Ice Chapter. Now, there's a lot of things to love about this final battle. I think that having Lloyd versus the Ice Emperor, that is actually a pretty cool fight, and also you can use the ice in many different ways. But the one thing that I have a problem with is the same thing that I have a problem with this particular part of the season as a whole, and that is that Zane becoming the Ice Emperor was kind of forced to me, and also Zane coming out of him being the Ice Emperor was kind of forced to me also. So I just feel like it's not that much spectacle to it. I think the only high point of this is that Kai gets his powers back and he defeats the Ice Dragon. But other than that, there's nothing really big about this final battle. Coming in at number 15 for me has got to go to Day of the Departed. Now, I think that Day of the Departed is the worst thing to come out of Ninjago, but I'm not a big hater on it like a lot of Ninjago fans are. But I do think that this final battle is on the lower half. It's because we don't really get that much setup for Yang. I think that if Day of the Departed was a season, then Yang would have more of a character development arc. In this special, he really doesn't, but they try so hard to make him redeemable in the end, where he just lets Cole go through the rift, and they really didn't know how to write it. And also with Cole getting more powerful with the RX form, I kind of like that idea. I like the fact that Cole gets, like, he unlocks a new power, but it seems like he unlocks a new power almost every one of his seasons. He had Earth, he has RX form, now he has Spinjitzu Burst. It's just weird. Now he has Magma Arms. That's just weird to me. Coming in at number 14 for me has got to go to Weapons of Destiny from the Pilots. Now, I think that this final battle is okay. It's not one that I would rewatch all the time, but I mean, if it's on there, I would watch it because this shows how far we've come as fans. Like I always say when I'm on topic about the pilots, the ninjas have gotten smarter. They've learned how to fight by themselves. They learned how to fight as a team, and in this final battle, it shows that this is the first time we see the tornado of creation. Like, this is the first time we have ever seen the tornado of creation, and it is so great till this day. As this being the first thing that we're introduced to as Ninjago, it definitely subverted our expectations on what this show was going for. Coming in at number 13 for me has got to go to Lost in Time from Season 7, Hands of Time. There's a lot of things to love about this final battle. The novelty of it is that you get to go back to the past, where you get to see the Elemental Masters fight the Time Twins. But there's also another novelty of it, that you get to see a younger Wu, a younger Garmadon, seeing them fight on the same side before Garmadon became evil, before Wu actually got older. You get to see a less stoic Wu, you get to see a less evil Garmadon, and that's just the novelty of it. And also you get to see the other Elemental Masters. You get to see Jay's mother, you get to see the Elemental Master of Earth, you get to see the Elemental Master of Ice. That's just the novelty of it. But to be honest, I don't find myself wanting to rewatch this one as much as I would the ones higher on this list. Coming in at number 12 for me has got to go to Vengeance is Mine from Seekers of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, the Fire Chapter. Now, I do think that the Ice Chapter is better than the Fire Chapter, but I do think that the final battle here is much more better. Honestly, because I kind of like the animation of it. Like I say in all of my rankings, I love the animation of the Fire Chapter. I love the fact that it's so vibrant and bright and has a lot of colors to it. And the final battle is no different. I like the fact that we have it inside of the monastery, but underneath the monastery. So you kind of get the little futuristic technological vibe to it. And also you get to have Zane sacrifice himself for Master Wu. Even though it wasn't really kind of earned, I do think that it is kind of a cool sequence. And also I just love the fact that we have the Spinjitzu be all wiggly and stuff like that. Though it is kind of different from what we had before, and what we had before is better, I do like the fact that it is kind of wiggly, and then they like splash against each other, and then they're like hitting each other with the Spinjitzu. I always love that when I'm watching it, and it's just fun, it's just vibrant. It has a lot of kind of spectacle to it, not as much, but I do think that this final battle is one that I could rewatch if it was on TV. Coming in at number 11 for me has got to go to Game Over from Season 12, Prime Empire. I think that this final battle is kind of dull in my opinion. I think the only thing that I really like about it is the fact that we got a little bit more human connection to Unagami as a character more, instead of just like a big bad. But yeah, not much that I really kind of want to remember about this final battle. That's the only reason why it's high, is because, you know, it's just giving Unagami more of humanity and more of a personality than just being the big bad. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of dull. The sky is gray, and then when you have gray with blue and red and neon stuff and neon colors, it just does not fit at all. And it just kind of makes you want to turn your head and look away because it just looks so bad and dull. Kicking off my top 10 list has got to go to March of the Oni. Now, I do think that this final battle does bookend the Masters of Spinjitzu side of Ninjago, but it does not do a great job with giving me a reason for why they have to fight the Oni, except for the fact that they're bad guys. I mean, this is very underwhelming and very disappointing because we didn't have that great of a setup for the Oni. And I just think that Sons of Garmadon and Hunted's final battles were better than this and very well executed. Coming in at number 9 for me has got to go to the Son of Lily from Season 13, Master of the Mountain. I love the fact that this season is all about Cole, and actually in this final battle, Cole does get the spotlight a lot. But I gotta say, the one thing that I found myself intrigued with was the action. I think that the action here is so great, and it's not something that's just big spectacle. It's just the fact that it's shot in a one-shot way, and that we have the ninjas just doing what they love. They're kicking, they're flipping around, they're punching the skeletons, and then you just see this long one shot of all the ninjas, and they're just going through these skeletons, and even you get the gremlins and the cave monsters in there also. I forget their names, but you also get them in there. They get in on the action, and you have Wu and their little angels from the city that they were in, and they just come down, and it's just such a great final battle that keeps you on the edge of your seat all the time. And I'm not just saying that because it has a lot of tension. I'm just saying because the action is just fast paced, it's fast moving, it's so good, and I just love the way that the camera just is like a one shot throughout the entire time. But also, Coles gets a new power called the Spinjitzu Burst, and actually makes him much more powerful than he already is. So I gotta say, this final battle is one that I would definitely want to watch again. Coming in at number 8 for me has gotta go to Day of the Great Devourer from Season 1, Rise of the Snakes. There's a lot of things to love about this finale. This was actually the first introduction to the Ninjago series as a whole, and one of the things that I really like about it is that it was the first thing that I kind of saw of the Ninjago series. I saw the pilots, but I didn't really see the series as a whole until this finale happened. So when I watched the finale, I was like, yo, this is actually pretty awesome. This is actually pretty great, because Garmadon, he's looking at the thing that turned him evil, and he got his revenge. That's one of the things that I like. So it pays off Garmadon's arc in the first season, but it also pays off the arc for the rest of the ninjas. They've already found their true potential. They realize that they have to be ninjas without their golden weapons to defeat the Great Devourer. Everyone has their moment to shine inside of this finale. And honestly, if Sensei Wu didn't come back, I would have had this finale higher because we had Sacrifice in it. Yeah, we did have Sacrifice, but he did come back in the last couple of minutes of the finale, so that kind of undercut the drama for me. Coming in at number 7 for me has got to go to Corridor of Elders from Season 4, Tournament of Elements. I like the season finale for a main reason, is that the Anachondri warriors are strong and they are powerful. We get to see all of the elemental masters and the citizens of Ninjago and the ninja themselves with a newly titanium Zane fighting together as a team, and I love that. We get to see everyone just hold the line against these Anachondri warriors, and I think that is just awesome. It provides this nice little spectacle aspect about it. The only reason why I have it a little bit lower is because the ninja really don't defeat them. Garmadon is only there to release them. So honestly, the Anachondri generals are the ones that kind of defeat them. I don't think that the ninjas actually deserve credit that they defeated the Anachondri warriors, but I guess they held the line long enough. Coming in at number 6 for me has got to go to the Titanium Ninja from Season 3, Rebooted. Now, I think the main thing about this final battle that everyone talks about is Zane's sacrifice, and that's one of the things that I really love about it. We have sacrifice, we have death, and the death is kind of paid off because this is Zane's central season. But I think the main thing that holds it back is the fact that it's not much of spectacle inside of it. We have spectacle before Zane starts to sacrifice himself. And really, all he does is just freeze the Overlord. The Overlord has golden power. And you're telling me ice is strong enough to defeat the Overlord? That's kind of weird a little bit. Like I'm okay with it because Zane gets his moment. This is his entire season. The season is focused on him, and he does have his sacrifice moment. And yes, I did cry at it. I was emotional while watching this part. But I just think that it is kind of weird that Zane defeats the Overlord with ice, and the Overlord is now the Golden Master. But don't get me wrong, this finale is pretty great and very emotional. Probably the most emotional on this list. Before I get into my top 5 list, I'd like to take the time to say that if you are a fan of Ninjago, which you probably are, that's why you're watching this video, click that playlist up above for everything Ninjago related that I have on my channel. Also, if you are a fan of the MCU, I am doing an MCU rewatch on my podcast. It's called The Regular Podcast, and that link is always in the description and in the comment section. And we will be uploading Captain Marvel on Monday. Without further ado, let's get into my top 5. Kicking off my top 5 list has got to go to the way back from Season 6 Skybound. Season 6 Skybound is a season that I fairly enjoy. It's one of those weird seasons because, yes, it is very weird. Like, it's so weird how the camera moves. It's just the way that Nadakana uses his powers. It's just the offness of the characters like Kai, Zane, Cole, Lloyd. They just feel off to me. And even with Nia being naggy, like season 4 Arrow Felicity, I'm not so sold on the season, but the finale is pretty good. I like the fact that throughout the entire season, we see the relationship of Nia and Jay just growing and growing to the point where Nia confesses her love for Jay, that she still loves Jay and Jay still loves Nia. So I find that with Nia dying at the end of this season, gave us that great emotional moment that would actually move Jay's character into a different direction, especially Kai, because he's basically watching his sister die right in front of him. Having this type of conclusion was the best thing for the series going forward. Jay gets his moment, Nia and Jay have their moment, and Jay reverses everything, but only Nia and Jay knows. Like, I'm okay with it. Not a lot of people are, but I'm okay with it. Coming in at number 4 for me has got to go to Big Trouble Little Ninjago from Season 8 Sons of Garmadon. I think Sons of Garmadon is the best season of Ninjago, and really, that's for good reason. I just like the cliffhanger of it. Just like how Infinity War is my favorite MCU movie, I just think that the cliffhanger in this just is great. It's fantastic. The Sons of Garmadon win. They did exactly what they set out to do, and that was to resurrect Garmadon and to take over Ninjago, and they did that. So I find that this finale is more so setting up Season 9's finale. Yes, we do have the fight with Misako and Nia versus Garmadon, which I really like that fight. That fight is awesome. It made me a fan of Nia again. But I just think that having this cliffhanger here, it shows to me that Ninjago is getting mature. It shows to me that this was actually a darker season and that they could do something like this. Kicking on my top 3 list has got to go to Green Destiny from Season 9 Hunted. I think that this final battle is pretty good. We get to see Wu and Lloyd, nephew and uncle, fight father. That is pretty cool. Like, that is pretty awesome. We get to see a younger Wu, a older Lloyd, and a evil Garmadon fighting each other. It's shot in a way that feels so cinematic. Like, this is a great finale. Like, and then we also have the ninjas fighting on a different course. They're trying to fight the big Oni Titan. And then we have like the dragons flying around. We have the chains. We have the citizens. We have the city helping out in the battle. Like, this is awesome. Like, this final battle is pretty awesome. We have Firstborn fighting Garmadon, also blasting her fire at him, which doesn't really do much. But at the same time, it is pretty awesome. The fight is what fuels Garmadon. So we have the purples, we have the reds, we have the greens, we have the blues. But most importantly, we have the purples and the golds and the blacks and the greens. Like, those colors clashing together is what makes it awesome. And I just think that this is one of the best final battles inside of Ninjago because it feels so cinematic. My runner-up at number 2 has got to go to Curseworld Part 2 from Season 5 Possession. I just think that this one is the most cinematic out of all of these final battles. Yes, I did say that, Hunted had the good cinematic final battle. This one just feels big in scope. And it's one of those things where, like, okay, everyone gets in on the action. Like, I know I said the citizens get in on the action, but in this one, all of the ninjas are actually doing something. We have Wu and Misako trying to get the people off of sticks. We have the Preeminent actually fighting the ninja. We have Nia unlocking her true potential. Just so many things goes on inside of this final battle. Meanwhile, you have Lloyd and Muro going through different dimensions, different realms, different worlds. We get to see Chima. We get to see all of these different worlds and realms, and it just makes for a nice, fun fight. It just seems cinematic and big in scope. But coming in at my number one has got to go to the final battle. I think everyone can agree that the final battle from Season 2, Rise of the Ultimate Spinjitzu Master, is the best final battle out there. This has the most payoff to the entire series. The ultimate battle, that's what we came here for. The Dark Lord versus the Golden Master. That's what we came here for. Seeing them clash together is something great. This is the prophecy realized. You know, we don't need to see a big army charging at each other. And I gotta tell you, this final battle just brought out the most in me. It is the most satisfying. And I feel like if Ninjago ended right here, I would not feel any sort of resentment from the creators, because they perfectly landed the ship with this finale. And this is why it has to come in at number 1. Alright guys, that is it for my ranking. Please know that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion. My list was certainly not the right list. It was just my list, and you are free to comment down below your ranking of all of the Ninjago final battles, ranked from the worst to the best, just like me, or you could just do your favorite. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.